Setting healthy boundaries. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second series of How to Set Healthy Boundaries. I am Lillian, and I'm so excited to continue this journey with you. So, what are boundaries? A boundary is an imaginary line that separates you from others. It defines where you end and the other person starts. When you set a boundary, you are telling others how they can and have to treat you. You are establishing what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Without clear boundaries, people might take advantage of you because you have not set the limits on how you expect to be treated. Let me ask you something. How many times you felt at one point in your life that someone took advantage of you? Of course, it is because you were not capable of setting a healthy boundary. If you do not set a healthy boundary when necessary, you are constantly at the mercy of others. This means that you allow others to tell you how you should think, act, feel, and behave. This could lead to frustration and possible depression. What happens to your self-esteem when you do not set a healthy boundary? Of course, it goes down. Today, we're going to change all of that. We are going to empower you with the ability to set healthy boundaries in any circumstance. Setting appropriate boundaries is a part of your self-care and self-love. So, if you want to increase your self-esteem, start by setting healthy boundaries. A healthy boundary is to clearly express your needs and your wants. Before setting a boundary, you have to really know what is bothering you. This is the importance of reconnecting to your instinct. If you have not done so, go back to the previous session. You need to connect to your instincts to know what is bothering you before you can set a good boundary. Why don't we set boundaries? Because of resentment, fears, or guilt. So we're going to explore the three of them. Let's explore first resentment. Resentment may occur as a result of saying yes when you really wanted to say no. Over time, this leads to emotional exhaustion, frustration, and even sometimes depression. Resentment does not exist when you have the ability to set good boundaries. When you do not set the correct boundary, you end up thinking that you're resenting the other person. But in reality, you're resenting yourself for not having the capacity to set the boundary. What happens to your self-esteem when you do not set appropriate boundaries? Of course, it goes down because you allow others to dictate your behavior. And you ignore your ability to clearly express your needs and your wants. If you are unable to express yourself, you end up resenting yourself for not having the ability to do so. When you continuously do not express your needs and your wants because of fear, this pattern can become exhausting and draining. You might find yourself snapping at people and you feel irritable and for no reason. That is the resentment speaking. Little by little, you start losing trust in yourself. You might begin to feel invisible, like your thoughts and feelings do not matter. But let me tell you, your needs and your wants are valid. Your voice matters. And every time you honor yourself by setting boundaries, you rebuild the trust in yourself. Start trusting yourself by taking baby steps in setting boundaries. Doing so will help you build your self-respect and your self-worth. Begin to tell yourself, I am worthy of protecting my peace and my self-respect. You might choose to tell this phrase to yourself daily until it becomes an integral part of your belief system. Please say this to yourself as many times as necessary to empower you to have the ability to set the appropriate boundaries. That is where your new life begins. The more that you embrace your self-worth, the better your life will get. How many of you have not set a boundary because of fear? Fear often shows up when we worry about how someone else is going to react or how someone else is going to think. Maybe we're afraid of losing a friend, upsetting a partner, or being judged. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people avoid setting boundaries. And it often shows up when we start imagining how the others will react. Maybe we are afraid that if we speak up, we will be disappointing someone. Or if we worry that we will come across as selfish, rude, and difficult. These fears are real and valid. They are part of our desires to be accepted and loved. But here's the truth. When you constantly ignore your own needs and wants to avoid uncomfortable reaction from others due to your fear, you end up abandoning yourself. You silence your voice, but inside you are building a resentment towards yourself and frustration. To be clear, fear stops you from setting a boundary, while resentment is the result of not doing the boundary. Here's a scenario. Imagine your friend constantly draws up by your home unannounced. And every time they come over, it drains your energy. But you never say anything because of fear that they will get upset. So what happens? You begin to resent them. But deep down, you are really resenting yourself for not saying what you need to say due to fear. Let's talk about guilt. Guilt is a feeling as a result of actually having harmed someone. If you realize that you have not harmed a person, then it is a belief system. The guilt is a belief system. Come from the message you received in your childhood, such as, you should feel guilty for doing that. And it became part of your subconscious mind. The idea that setting a boundary might hurt someone else will stop you from actually setting the boundary. If you know that you will not hurt someone, then feel the guilt and set the boundary anyway. You might continue to feel guilty after you did the boundary. So ask yourself, did I cause any harm? If the answer is no, you have to let go of the feeling of feeling guilt by saying to yourself, I did not cause any harm. I was just expressing myself. Feeling guilty can paralyze you. You can convince yourself to stay quiet and keep sacrificing your well-being just to keep others comfortable. And over time, this becomes a cycle where your needs and your wants are constantly pushed aside and your sense of self-worth is affected. And in essence, it would lower your self-esteem. You must feel the guilt, but still set the boundary. This means that you're putting yourself first. As a result, it will make you feel good about yourself and it will increase your self-esteem and your self-worth, creating a happy life for yourself. This new behavior requires practice. Give yourself the gift of setting a boundary even if you feel guilty, because you come first. You are not responsible for managing other people's feelings at the expense of your own. Setting boundaries does not mean that you are not caring or that you are selfish or mean. What it really means is that you are beginning to love yourself above other people. Let me offer you a phrase you can use when guilt happens so that you can set the appropriate boundary. I have the right to express my needs and wants, take care of myself, as long as I do it with kindness and respect. We will empower you step by step in how to set healthy boundaries with kindness and respect. Setting boundaries can feel challenging, especially when you're used to say yes all the time and putting others' needs above your own. By learning how to establish clear limits is essential to protecting your time, energy, and well-being. So let's break that cycle today. Let's talk about the three main types of boundaries: physical, emotional, and spiritual. Let's start with physical boundaries. Physical boundaries are about your body, your personal space, and your physical comfort. They help protect your sense of safety and control your own physical self. For example, imagine someone coming over to you and giving you a hug without asking you first, and it makes you feel uncomfortable and uneasy. A healthy physical boundary means you have the right to express your feelings and say something like, "I would prefer a handshake instead." By asking that, you let others know how you need to be treated and respected. Respecting your physical boundaries is essential for building trust and feeling secure in any relationship. Now, let's talk about emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries involve separating your emotions from someone else. Your partner is in a bad mood and you start feeling anxious or responsible for cheering them up. But emotional boundaries means you recognize that their emotions are their own and not yours to fix. Emotional boundaries protect yourself and help you manage how much emotional energy you give to others. It is an exchange of feelings and opinions. Many times you do not set emotional boundaries because of people pleasing. What this means is that you put another person's needs and wants before yours. By recognizing your people pleasing trait, you will have the ability to set proper boundaries. Now let's explore spiritual boundaries. Spiritual boundaries involve your thoughts, beliefs, values, and opinions. They protect your right to have your own ideas and perception, even if they are different from others. Having a strong spiritual boundary means you can stand firm in your values without being pressured or manipulated. Your spiritual beliefs are yours, not to be touched by anybody. Example: a friend might pressure you to attend a religious event that you're not comfortable with. A spiritual boundary could be, "I respect your belief, but this does not align with my beliefs." Personal boundaries are the most important boundaries that you can set for yourself. You cannot set boundaries with others unless you have clear boundaries with yourself. So please remember, the most important boundary that you can set is the boundary with yourself. So, what are personal boundaries? They are the limits and the rules you set for yourselves. In a relationship, a personal boundary is to be able to say no when you want to, but also to feel comfortable opening yourself up to intimacy and closeness. Let's go even deeper. Why do you struggle to set personal boundaries in the first place? The answer is often connected to your early experiences in life. Maybe you were raised, be nice no matter what, or you were taught to say no. That was rude and selfish. So you learned at an early stage of your life that you needed to be nice no matter what, putting yourself in a sacrificing position and not capable of saying no when necessary because you had the fear that it was going to be rude and selfish. But let's redefine nice. Being nice does not mean abandoning yourself to make others happy. Being kind to yourself means knowing when to say no. Boundaries do not push people away, but to the contrary, it helps build real connections. When you set a boundary, you give others a chance to respect you. If they do not, it tells you that they do not respect you and that person should not be part of your life. Personal boundaries help you monitor your own behaviors and create healthy structures in your life. Identify the different areas in your life that might need structure and limits. For example, your finances, your relationships, your electronic usage, your daily routine, your physical health, your nutrition, and your emotional health. As you work on creating personal boundaries, create a list of them. Make sure that they reflect your goals and your values. That's right, we often forget this part. Boundaries help you manage your own habits, behaviors, and decisions. As you work on creating your personal boundary list, make sure that they reflect your goals and values. That's right, we often forget this part. Boundaries help you manage your own habits, behavior, and decisions. Here are some examples of personal boundaries you might want to set for yourself. Eat mindfully and take care of your body. Limit your coffee or soda intake. Avoid people that hurt and stress you out. Stick to a budget. Limit yourself to the amount of TV watching. Limit your social media and not check Facebook or Instagram when you are bored. Do not participate in gossip. Do not overschedule your calendar. Set a consistent sleep schedule. Do not work past a certain hour. Do not answer work emails on weekend or after hours. Only buy what is in your shopping list. Keeping regular bedtime and wake-up time. Doing laundry once a week. These are only some examples. Now you can create your own list. Here is one more example that is absolutely very important and is a big one. Do not overshare. Many of us overshare in hope of being liked, accepted, and validated. But a healthy boundary involves knowing when to hold back. You do not need to share everything to feel that you are honest. Honesty is with yourself. Not oversharing is a form of self-respect. Think before you share. Give yourself permission to not overshare. Oversharing can lead to being taken advantage of because you are giving unnecessary information that can be used against you. Samples of personal boundaries that could be affected. Someone going through your personal belongings. Someone reading your text message. A coworker takes credit for your work. Someone constantly puts you down in front of others. Someone takes their anger on you. Someone invades your personal space. A family member guilt trips you into doing something you do not want to do. These are some examples. I encourage you to make up your own personal boundaries. Here is how we begin to set healthy boundaries. Notice what is bothering you. Pay attention to what's happening and how it is affecting you. Check your emotions. Which instinct is affected? Identify your needs and your wants. Communicate clearly and respectfully. Express your needs and your wants with honesty, confidence, and kindness. One of the best ways to establish a healthy boundary is to not be accusatory. So you will say something like, when you do blank, you fill in the blank. When you do whatever they do, it makes me feel. You do not want to be accusatory. You're just expressing what is bothering you. I feel blank. I feel sad. I feel uncontent. I feel unappreciated when you express this to me. So express your needs clearly at this moment. I need blank. I need for you to not scream at me. I need for you to be more loving to me. I need you, whatever the blank is, express your needs and your wants clearly. Fill in the blank as needed. You can say, when you interrupt me, I feel unheard. I need to express myself without interruptions. This is how you express yourself without being accusatory. Actions is a boundary with no words. For example, if you told someone in a boundary that not being punctual is not acceptable, the action might be to leave because they are late. No words are necessary. Actions speak louder than words. After setting a boundary, we have to be willing to accept the consequences. A lot of people do not set boundaries because of fear of the consequences. Here is the challenge. You have to do the boundary no matter what. I want to clearly tell you, no is a complete sentence. It does not require an explanation. Also, you have to accept others' boundary when they say no to you. Here are some assignments for this week. Continue to connect to your instincts. Recognize any resentments, fears, and guilt that come up that stop you from setting boundaries. Make a list of your personal boundaries. Track how many boundaries have you been able to set this week. Was it easy? Was it hard? How did you feel? Let's end up with this thought. You deserve to feel safe, respected, and fully seen. And the first step towards creating that kind of life starts with setting healthy boundaries. Just by showing up today, you have already taken a powerful step. I'm proud of you. Be sure to subscribe and share this video with someone who needs this message. I cannot wait to see you again in the next video. Until then, be kind to yourself and others.